Hello everybody, it's Lady Shatana, and welcome back to another one of my Getting Started with Minecolonies videos. Today we are talking about the Architect's Cutter, which is a huge part of the builds of most, if not all, of the styles that are in the Minecolonies mod now. So today we are looking at specifically the 1.20.1 version. The menu does look a little bit different from 1.19, but the general basic operation of the whole thing is very, very much the same. So let's get to it. So first of all, this is the Architect's Cutter itself, and it's part of the Domum Ornamentum mod, which is one of the companion mods. The dependencies for Minecolonies, you need to have it running alongside. And when you go into the cutter itself, this is where the magic happens. The menu looks now where we have the various groups of items, the variant of the item within that group, and the input materials and your own inventory. So you would have the items that you're going to be using within that inventory, and you'd be working from there. So say for example you wanted to make one of our panels, which is something we use in a lot of our designs. So you would choose the panels section here, and then you would choose which panel you want within that section. Say for example you wanted just a regular full panel. You'll see that one of the material inputs has become available, the other one is showing as not available, and you would put in whatever item it is that you're going to use to make it, and your output would be right here. So you would then select that, and you now have 4 panels. That simple. And that works for any of the items in here. Now say for example you were looking to make one of the framed items, say for example just a regular framed block, and so now you see the second input becomes available. So you now have the frame material, which is the outside parts, the center material, pretty self-explanatory, it's the center, and so you would put whatever that second item is in there, and you can see that this all changes based on whatever items are in here. And again, you then get your output right here, and normally when you're in regular survival mode, these items would be used up when you created that item. So that's just an example of how the whole thing works. There are a couple of things that do use 3 inputs, I believe, unless they changed that, which it looks like they did. It used to be that you needed 3 items to make the shingles, but it looks like one of the changes from 119 to 120 is that we only now need 2. So same thing with all the shingles and everything, the shingle material, the support material, and you can see how this actually changed as well. So it's much clearer as to which items you need to be putting in, and it's just a matter of mousing over the item to see what it is that you need. So it is that simple for all that. So then when you're building with these actual items, you've got the lovely shingles there, you've got your lovely framed blocks, and you have your fantastic panels. So that's a basic overview of how the items themselves work. And so one of the things that I'll just point out is that a lot of our styles do use brick extra. A lot of them use blue and red specifically. These are also the Domum Ornamentum, or DO as we just like to shorthand it, and they are, oops, we can't show it on this one, I need to be here. So the brick extra is very easy to make. It's just 4 bricks and then whatever color in the center die to come out with the bricks themselves that you need. And they are crafted, I believe. So in this case, the brick extra is done by the dyer. So your stone smelter will make the bricks, and the dyer will then take the bricks and whatever dye to make whatever bricks that you need. So this is where you can see, so this is where JEI, just enough items, the additional mod, is going to be really integral for doing anything to do with the Architect's Cutter and DO, because it will show you which crafters are going to make the specific items. So how this works together with your crafters is, of course, you're going to have your clipboard, which is super important with helping you run a healthy colony. And once you've connected it to your colony by right-clicking on, or shift right-click on your town hall, you'll then be able to see any open requests. Now, the requests that show up on this board, of course, are the ones that cannot be currently fulfilled by the crafters within your colony. So you actually have to action something to be able to make these. So right now, I have somebody asking for these polished deep slate framed thin walls, which is crafted in the Architect's Cutter. And right here, when you mouse over it, it tells you what the materials are that you need specifically, and how many that you're going to need at some point. So there's actually two things that you would do with this. So first of all, if you do not yet have the right kind of crafter to make this, you would make it yourself. Now, the way that you kind of determine which crafter is going to be making this is by what the materials are. In this case, we have a crimson stem, which is technically a wooden item, and a polished deep slate, which is a stone item. So in this case, it will actually be the stonemason that would make this, because the sort of main material of this item is a stone. So you could go and you could make it yourself by doing the, what was it, the panel? No, it was the wall. So the walls, it does say paper walls, but it's actually any wall with the center of the stone and the crimson stem. So that right there, so taking the frame material, the center material, and go ahead and you could just create them yourself, which is easy enough to do. But if you have the correct crafter, you will ask the crafter to make it. And what I generally do is I keep an eye on what the requests are, and as they come up, I will run and I will teach that item to the crafter. I don't generally do things kind of ahead of time. I just get them taught as it comes up, as the request comes up, so that way you're not sort of over teaching or filling up their recipes, because they only have a certain number of recipes that they can have at any given time, and at the lower levels it's a little bit limiting, so you only want to teach them what they can actually hold. So in this case, anything that is the DO items is going to be in the custom recipes, and teaching the recipes. Now you can specifically put in the inputs, so you can select the it was the crimson stem, so you can select that and then select the next one. But right now you actually have a colony request for the item. So we actually have this requests button that's right here, and what's really great is you just click on that. It will show you any requests that are applicable to this crafter. You click on select, it will input exactly what it needs so you don't get it wrong. So say for example, if you put the crimson, what is it, it's not the stem, it's like the wood version of it. Instead, like if you put the wrong version, this will automatically pull in the right ones. It'll tell you that teaching that combination, this crafter will be able to make all of these different items. You teach it, and now when we actually take a look at our clipboard, it's like, oh, okay, well, our dude can make this now, which is great. So the stonemason now needs all the materials, and your next step would be, of course, making sure they have the materials that they need. But it's that easy for the Architect's Cutter items. Just teaching it in the custom recipes as the requests come up is what you'll do. So most of those will be things like the stonemason, the blacksmith, the sawmill will quite often do a lot. And the glass maker will make anything to do with glass, obviously. And the mechanics hut is kind of a catch-all for items that don't really fit anywhere else. Anything to do with redstone things is what it will normally make, but it will also do things like quartz and some other materials that don't fit into anywhere else. I have sometimes found myself running to the wrong crafter and finding that option isn't where I expected to be. I'm like, oh, I'm at the stone smeltery, not the stonemason. Or coming over here and being like, oh, it's a glass thing, but there's no custom. There's no requests there right now, so I'm at the wrong crafter. So sometimes you might end up at the wrong spot, but it's just a matter of checking maybe a couple of different crafters to make sure that you get it in the right one eventually. Another thing you can do is if you're, say, creating, I don't know, something outside for your colony, maybe building some custom walls or something like that, and you end up where you want a whole bunch of these custom-made things for your own purposes, you can actually request them and have the crafter make them instead of doing them yourself. So what you would do is in the post box is where you can request anything from any of your crafters. If you have one of the items in your inventory, it should show up. Let me find it here. Deep slate. Yeah, so the framed deep slate with the spruce planks that we have in our inventory is actually on this list. So you can then request, say you want, I don't know if this is by the stack, so I'm going to do 64 here. And yeah, so I think it's by the item, and that sends the request through the regular request channels, and it will then be created and delivered to the post box here. So you can make requests yourself, and they will make it and drop it there whenever it is available. So that's pretty much it. That is how the Architect's Cutter works and how it works along with your crafters. So I hope that it is helpful and useful and helps things run a little bit more smoothly in your colony. And also, I hope that you are having an absolutely fantastic day and that we see you again very, very soon. Bye-bye.